I am your host, Leah Demba, and you are listening to the Oracle on Purpose podcast, where we help intentional leaders clarify their purpose and next steps to create a work and life of significance. Hello, friends. I am so glad to share today's experience. I love experiential learning. That's my favorite. It's my favorite to share my own experiential learning because I know that nothing happens without a reason. And so as I mentioned in the header above, this is a tale, a cautionary tale about why Mercedes is no Nordstrom's. So today I was having a great day. I had some time off today, and I had some time in my schedule to kind of get some errands done. And one of the errands that I needed to do is go buy some new boots because I'm going to Scotland to do a little bit of recon for our Master Creators Alchemy Retreat, which is happening in Scotland in August. But I am going ahead of time to go look at locations, scout locations, and things like that for the retreat. And I need boots. I need boots because, of course, Scotland in the winter, it's going to be wet. It's going to be cold. So I went off to Nordstrom's to pick up some clothes that I had tailored there, and then also decided to go look at the boots. So here was my experience. I walked into the door. I was in errand mode, right? So this is me, like you see me now, all natural, heading into the store. And what I was on my phone, and what I noticed, like within a few minutes of walking into the door, I went over to the area where you pick up your pickup things. And a woman came out, and I was on my phone. Okay, so just hear me out. I was on my phone. I was busy, but she still recognized that I was in the general area for pickup. And she came over to me, and she was very apologetic and very kind and said, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Can I help you? Are you here to pick something up?" And I said, "Actually, yes, I'm just picking up some clothes that have been tailored." She said, "I'm so sorry you had to wait." I said, "It's absolutely no problem. I'm just checking my phone mail." And so she walked off. Did you hear I said that? That's funny. Phone mail, email. And so she walked off and, asked me my information, went off and got it. Came back, was very nice about it, asked me if I needed additional bag. It was hanging in one of the plastic lined bags for off of a hanger. And I said, "No, it's fine, just the way it is." And so she said, "Great, thank you so much. Is there anything else I can do for you?" I said, "Absolutely not, I'm all set, thanks." And then I went to go get my shoes. So I walk into the shoe department. I'm looking around at some of the shoes. A woman comes by me. She says, "Someone will be right with you to help you." I said, "Thank you so much." And I'm looking at different shoes, and another gentleman came through, and he saw me looking at a couple of different shoes. He said, "Can I get some sizes for you?" I said, "Yes." He then went on to go get me the sizes, but then he also did something amazing. And this is why I love Nordstrom. So I gave him the shoes that I liked, and he went off to get the sizes that I asked for. But he also came back. He opened the shoes. He took out all the stuff. When you try on shoes, there's like 1,000 pieces of paper inside of them. He untied them, he unzipped them, he had them all ready. He asked me which was my bigger shoe, my foot, so that he could give me that shoe first. Then he also said, "By the way, I noticed that there's another shoe like this one in a different style. Designer. Thank you, different designer. But it's very similar." So I went ahead and grabbed that as well. You might like it because I saw it was kind of a combination of these two you're looking at. I said, "Oh, thanks so much." So I tried on all the shoes. And one size didn't fit me. He said, "No problem." He went back and got me the other shoe. I tried the bigger one. He said, "We don't have that one, but we have a bigger size, and we can determine whether or not we need to get you the one in between." And I said, "Thank you so much." So I tried on the bigger one. Sure enough, of course, it was too big. But I said, "You're right. I can tell now by this that I do need to go up in the middle size." He said, "No problem. Got everything ordered." I picked up the shoes that I did pick up. I got the other two pair, and then I was off. And I thought, now that, boys and girls, is service. Not only did he think about what I was trying to do, right? asking me, and we were talking about what I was doing that day, what I was going, what I was getting the shoes for, so that he could prepare to look around beyond what I saw and see if there was something else that could serve me better and to bring it to me. I didn't even have to ask. It was like he was really being attentive to what I needed. He saw me. I felt recognized. I felt validated. I felt seen. And I'm going to pause right here in between the break of the story between Nordstrom's and Mercedes to let you know that that is one of my favorite things that my clients will say to me. When they've worked with me, one of the most common comments I receive is that they feel seen. They felt as if I saw who they were and what they were trying to achieve. And my goal is to support them in that. And that was the experience I had walking away from Nordstrom's. I was happy. I had some great new shoes. I'd show you, but then I'd have to take my foot up in a weird angle. But what was really wonderful is I was in this fantastic mood, and I decided after meeting with my husband and son for lunch that I was going to go off and do something really big, really, really big, especially for me. For most of the things that I buy things that I really like. Quality is important to me, but I really like, as you can see, shiny things, really nice things. But sometimes in some areas of my life, I've noticed that I can lean more to the practical side. Especially when it comes to vehicles. That has been the past story. It's a utilitarian thing. It's a tool. It just needs to get me from point A to point B. It's probably a lot to do with my upbringing and, a lot of used cars that were handed down and all of that stuff. As long as it got you from point A to point B, that was the key. So today was a big day. Today I decided not only do I want to upgrade my vehicle, but I want to do something really nice. I want a really nice vehicle. I want it to be really elegant and luxurious, pretty. Is the word that I use when I told my husband, who definitely shook his head because he's the car guy in our family. And he wants to know all the details. And I'm like, I just want to walk up to a car that just makes me feel like $1 million. I want to have the experience of really being in a luxurious ride. So in one of my mentorship groups, there was a woman who mentioned that she had just got a hybrid Mercedes. So the practical side of me and also the ecological side of me wants to have an electric vehicle of some sort. But I don't really care for the shape of the Tesla, even though I thought in the past it would be really great. It just doesn't fit my lifestyle. I really like an SUV. So when I saw that she had one, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to go check out the Mercedes SUV. And this, my friend, is where the day went wrong. So I decided that there was a Mercedes-Benz dealership very close to my way home. So I would stop by and check out what they had available. And as I drove into the lot with my current 100% hybrid all-electric vehicle, I noticed a few people standing in the area where the cars were being parked. And I got out. Nobody said anything to me. I thought, well, maybe they don't actually work here because who knows? And so I walked over to the showroom area and I went inside the showroom area and there were guys, there was a handful of guys sitting at different desks. Some were looking at their computers, others were on the phone. Some of them were just on their cell phones texting. Not one person, none of them even made eye contact. I thought that was interesting. So it gave them the benefit of the doubt. Perhaps they're busy at the moment. But there were a handful, 4 to 5 guys in this showroom. So I walked all the way through the showroom. Still nothing. I went out one door of the showroom, crossed in front of the showroom in the glass. No one came out to say anything. No one, again, made eye contact. Looked around one car in particular, noticed it wasn't the right kind. Went around the corner to another area in front of a big glass window where they could clearly see me. Started looking inside the car, with my eyes up to the glass, looking inside to see what was in the dash of the car and things like that. There were a handful of guys still out in that same parking area. No one said anything to me. And I thought, that's really odd. So I decided to go back into the main area of into the showroom area. I open the door and I look around, and again, no one has looked up. And a couple of people, in fact, looked through me. Do you know what I'm saying? They looked through me. They saw me, didn't move, didn't nod their head, didn't get up out of their desks, didn't wave me over, nothing. And a guy came out from around the corner. He was an older gentleman. And I will tell you something, everybody. Side note, I happen to have worked in sales for a long time as part of my previous career. And I know whenever I've gone to any other showroom where there are salespeople, that people want you to talk to them so they can get the sale. So this gentleman happened to be older, by older, probably older than me, maybe in his late 60s or so. And he saw me and he said, "Oh my gosh, he said, excuse me, ma'am, may I help you?" And I said, "Yes, actually, I'm trying to buy a car." I said, "I'm looking for the hybrid car that I hear you have." And he said, "We don't have a hybrid car, I don't think." And so he walked me over to another gentleman who was one of the guys that I'd seen now 3 times, and said, asked him about this hybrid car. Now, this gentleman was completely laid back in his chair. His knees were up across, was wrapped across his legs. He was sitting back, texting, and he barely still looked up to even acknowledge that there was a potential customer in front of him. And when he answered, his answer was, "Well, no, we don't have any of those. And yeah, the only ones we have are old ones. We don't actually have anything new for you." And I said, "Okay, well, can you get the other cars?" And he's like, no. He's like, "You'd be better off going to Lexus or BMW." And honestly, at that point, I was like, even if he had, just note to self, anyone out there, even if he had a Mercedes sitting there on the floor at that point, I was pretty done with this situation. So what was the difference? I mean, look, not going to lie, it doesn't, I'm not removed from the fact that oftentimes people look at me, and even though I'm fair-skinned, still consider me a person of color. So we can't pretend that might not have had a role in the experience I had. So I want to put that out there with no saying that that's it at all, but that is definitely something that I've come across in my life. What I see in this experience that was so different, and why to me it was such a great example of why what they did could have been so much better, was they didn't ever once consider that what they were creating, the space they were creating when I came in, was so unwelcoming. It was unwelcoming. I didn't feel as if they saw me at all. I did not feel seen. I did not feel acknowledged. And like I said, to the point at the end, even if the car had somehow been there, I don't know that I would have purchased from that particular dealership. And what I came away from that thinking was, here's an opportunity. Here's an opportunity to remember how easy it is to have clients who love you. How easy that whole situation could have been. So first and foremost, when someone came into their presence as salespeople, right, because that's really what they are, to acknowledge them, to make sure. Now there's a difference between hounding someone and just making eye contact, right? Just saying, "Hey, I'm here if you need help." That's fine. That could have helped, right? Obviously. The next thing is, when you see someone struggling to figure something out in your presence, and you're a salesperson and you're trying to make a sale, to figure out what they're looking for, to help them understand what's available, right? And to help find a solution. And then lastly, how this could have gone better is for a person to say, I don't have that available right now, right here, but here's how I can help you get it. I can call another dealership. I can check inventory in other areas. I can take your name and number and call you back if I find someone that has one of the hybrids available that you can look at and have it brought to our dealership for you to test drive. Now, none of that happened. And that's too bad. And you'll need to stay tuned to find out what happened next, because of course, I wasn't about to leave the rest of my day like that. And I have some good news. So stick around for tomorrow when I share what happened next. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the Oracle on Purpose show. If you found value in this episode, we'd appreciate you leaving a comment. Also, you can subscribe and ring the bell if you haven't yet. If you'd like to get clear on your highest vision and next steps, go to oracleonpurpose.com. See you next week.